We'll stick to the conclusion that, of course, with 4 piston, so 2 more pistons, even though they are smaller pistons and bigger pads, you improve also the power. You stating that increasing the pistons, increasing the leverage ratio, and this means single pistons are limited. They are, but the same ratio can be achieved on the lever side, with smaller bore. The number of pistons does not determine the leverage ratio. The coefficient of friction is not a static unchanging number, so while yes, increasing pad size does not increase brake torque on a static system, in the real world where there are a lot of other variables to consider. Keeping a larger pad at lower temperature can be beneficial, for example, other things like how rigged the pad surface of gauging at specific pressure and temperatures. Larger pads seems to offer better characteristic and multiple pistons are needed for a constant sweep area. I like multi-piston brakes with big pads. Going to a bigger rotor is easy and effective regardless of the system you are using. So back to the question, you should get a larger rotor. I tried the cheaper solution, bigger rotor. Shimano XT 8000 rotors were 180, 160, switched to 203, 180 mainly as my arthritis in hands can get painful. I'm pretty happy, but it's not the power I was looking for. I rarely ever locked up my wheels to skid on the old setup, so smaller rotors were essentially fine. The larger rotors are barely noticeable to me, but it is a subtle improvement. Sine brakes will be on my next bike. XT4 piston may also be a solution, so I will follow that thread to see how people like the new XT4 piston. I do not like the 203 front rotor as it warps a tiny bit. It can be easy made to clear pads by slightly bending it every day, few rides. It barely warps, it just need a little love and now and then. Very easy and it barely warps. I rarely had this problem when running 180 front. Thanks, Metallic. This one, the last. As I said, maybe we needed to start with the last. The formula at the end implies that braking force, line pressure, piston area, rotor diameter, and coefficient of drag. Without taking into consideration brake fade, going from 180 to 200 is going to be net about 11% increase. Going from 2 to 4 piston is going to net about 100 increase. No, this is BS. This is BS. Not even ChatGPT is making this this kind of joke. 20% fine, 30% fine, 50% more power fine, but 100 increase is joke. Brake fade will improve exponentially in proportion to diameter, so a 200 compared to 180, this means 32% increase in surface area to dissipate heat. So yeah, this maybe is true. You have 30% more surface from 180 to a 200. Just a pause and we go on. We are back. You can see this is Shimano website, bikeshimano.com. Searching for 4 piston. Not a lot of informations. You can see small piston are in the direction of the rotation. They are firstly to create contact, as we will read. This is not this is engineered. It's not just a random distribution of this size piston. So disc brake system with a dual diameter opposed piston caliper design has definitive size piston in the front and in the rear. The system adopts a power transfer system in which the disc brake rotor is pressed by the smaller sized piston at the entrance of the disc rotor intake and also by the more powerful larger piston at the back. This prevents the wobbling motion of the disc brake rotor and reduces noise significantly. That's the sound which can be produced by the vibrations created. The 4-piston caliper also allows a wider contact area of the disc brake rotor while keeping the size compact, and the efficient location of the pads is adjusted as necessary to stabilize the pressure. In combination used with servo wave lever, it provides an incredible 50% more stopping power than the previous model. The advanced Signed Z disc brake system, which adjust to accommodate the different braking styles of different riders, offers stable braking power and excellent modulations. So again, if you see this on Shimano website, I can't be that of a conspiracy theorist engineer to actually try to calculate now to make the fine experiments and whatever mind-blowing calculations and comparison to say actually, oh, the 4-piston doesn't bring any power more than a 2-piston. Yes, I think it brings 50% more with the servo wave. I think is combined, to exaggerate a bit, is not 50%. If we exclude the servo wave out of that equation, maybe it's 50-50, so a 25-25 I think is pretty much the reality, or close. So that's it about 4 pistons on Shimano website. Now we will have some fun if the telephone is continue to film. Will continue to film. Why? Because as this guy was the subject, the, let's say, the one member of the industry who brings intrigue, who present us the latest best tech which we need or like or whatever. Now we will step towards the top of the hierarchy, to some opinions. These are the best or the most famous or the most charismatic or the most objective journalists into this industry, but I observed something and I can't keep my mouth shut. Yesterday I actually laughed. Hopefully today I will not laugh, because presenting it and analyzing and doing statistics and paying attention, whatever, is not that fun when I try to guide you, and also I try to don't make important mistakes. But in my opinion it is still funny, and you will see how crap will slowly rise above the sea level, about the water, like the oil and water, how they don't mix. Very easily you will understand what is crap and what is realistic, humble opinion, as the other guy actually very well said about choosing the best version for him, which was 2 caliper piston. And again, I don't try to negotiate on your side, on your money or whatever for the front wheel. We can work there, we can understand, we can refine a solution, but on the rear wheel, no discussions. For the rear wheel, 4 piston is dumb, purely dumb. You saw on Shimano. So for me, let's say, I'm starting to feel better now because I allow myself to don't be that serious. So we saw before on Shimano website 50% more power with servo wave and whatever from the previous version. So if I would actually take Shimano report as a fish who bite the hook, I can think about, oh, 50% more I want, and let me put 50% more on the rear. Just imagine how this stupid thing sound. So on the rear, 50% more. Why? So on a road bike, you have to be crazy, just crazy. And is also not allowed, not implemented to have 50% more from a bigger rotor, from a bigger caliper, whatever. On the mountain bike, fine. But if you can just play with the rear wheel with 2 piston, you think you can play even better or even faster, because everything reduces to fast, not just to power. To power to crash in a tree and to take it out of his roots and other trees with him. No, the idea is to be fast, alright? Or to make things smoother, easier. So 50% more on the rear wheel. That's Shimano's claim on their website, releasing the new technology. So let's start with this, because this will help us to go into this one, the video I showed you, the rider who can ride 2 piston in downhill, and why. So everything connects now. I think the Excel is a overhyped idea from me, just a losing of time, reviewing again and again this video. Maybe everything is there, maybe doing some screenshots. I can make it easier than to work in Excel, so I close it. Also snipping tool.
X.
Oh, also snipping tool, which I thought I will use. But anyways, this is not an exam, this is a discussion. So let's see what Shimano say on their website. Brakes are absolutely essential parts of our mountain bikes, but they're often absolutely bewildering. I don't know what this bewildering mean. How can something with such a simple function of stopping our bikes be so complex? I said to you that this is not only about stopping, even for the rear wheel, it is also a safety, let's say, control mechanism, because on the motorcycle you also have throttle, which you can use to save and push the rear wheel when needed and you lose the front, but on the bicycle you also need control to push the rear wheel to don't lose the front in some cases, or as I presented you on descents, on ice, on slippery terrain, maybe it's not only about stopping power, it's about control. Having the wrong brakes can make for nervous Having the wrong brakes can make for nervous riders and even causes crashes. So this material is that long, you know, and if you read the instructions on the Shimano website, you would see the second paragraph say, having the wrong brakes can make for nervous riders and even cause crash. So we almost understand what brakes we need. Not Valentino Rossi, Loic Bruni, Sam Pilgrim, Marc Marquez, Schumacher, Hamilton, Ayrton Senna need. What brakes we need to don't crash and to don't be nervous. It's written there. Oh my god. Here we'll examine how brakes works and what technologies are used in a way that can all understand. Nice photo. A bit wet, as you can see. Here is mud on the wheels and on the frame. And here it seemed to be a bit no, it's not that wet because I don't see him dirty. Anyways, what's it? Hydraulic disc brake. First we need to know what we're dealing with. Hydraulic disc brake work by pulling a lever that moves the brake fluid through the brake hose to the bike caliper. The fluid then causes the piston in the calipers to push the brake pads against the brake rotor, giving us the friction needed to slow down and stay in control. Please make a screenshot here. Stay in control. Dude,
time to have more powerful brakes. So even if you're only going up and down a couple hundred feet on your ride, then you're still going to be very happy on your descent with more stopping power.
Yeah, you'll be much more happy at the hospital with no teeth, with a broken hand, with no bike, but happy with more power. What a clown, what a joke. And not this one, I will present you, there's more. Hopefully I'm not that well understood. I've got nothing with this kind of people, with this ignorant or how you can say, which want money on people's stupidness, opportunistic, you know, superficial content creators. But anyway, you can see on Shimano website, you can read. SRAM website, I don't care. I don't even visited that except when I serviced my forks for manual services at the beginning. But on Shimano you can still find interesting stuff. To slow down and stay in control, here is said. What hydraulic brake is best for you? More powerful. Did you watch this guy? What he said?
Bad time to have more powerful brakes. So even if you're only going up and down a couple hundred feet on your ride, then you're still going to be very happy on your descent with more stopping power.
Alright, Shimano is stupid. What is best for you? More power, man. Your brake choice come down to what you ride and how you ride. Downhill riders slashing burns and hammering through steep and deep sections will use different brake compared to XC riders who spin their way up hills, up climbs, and have shorter, flatter descent. Yeah. Downhill riders need as much stopping power as possible, while the XC riders will be more focused on weight. Both need to choose their pads carefully, amount of piston and rotors. Again, I will make it clear. Both need to choose their pads. So pads, carefully. Amount of piston, carefully. This means front, rear, they should have mentioned here, but they still trying to sell you something. And rotors. You can What's this called, man? Highlighter, whatever, highlighter. Anyway, I highlighted here with the blue color. Both need to choose their pads carefully. Amount of pistons and rotors to be best for you. My god. MTB rotors explained. The rotors are a key part of the braking system. They're the link between the brake and the bike and massively impact performance. Massively impact performance. Disc. Alright, disc. MTB brake rotors came in various sizes 140, 160, 180, 203, 220. But bigger doesn't always mean better. Shut the fuck off, Shimano. Did you watch this guy? Again.
With any vertical descending will be benefited from more powerful brakes. There's never really a bad time to have more powerful brakes, so even if you're only going up and down a couple hundred feet on your ride, then you're still going to be very happy on your descent with more stopping power. Also,
yeah, Shimano, please, please take notes here, Shimano. What are you doing? How you can say, but bigger doesn't always mean better? How? Instead, it's all about ensuring the right amount of heat is generated. So firstly, please, I will make a big thing from this one article, if you can understand. But we have 2 articles and also 1 video more. This is, in this way, is the entire complete discussion. Only in this way. Maybe you say, dude, this is the Bible, this is the truth. Man, why do you go into the shop or on different websites and you ask guys like him, oh, I would need to buy a 4-piston or not? Yes, you need. Dude, read. You know to read. Try a bit, improve a bit, then go back and you know, don't bite like the fish, the hook, with the open mouth like this. Oh my god. So again, instead, this is the website. Maybe you don't know where I'm watching. You can make a screenshot. You can ask Google to invite you here. Anyways, it's 2025. You can visit it. Instead, it's all about ensuring the right amount of heat is generated. So firstly, you need to generate heat. So, as they say, but bigger rotor doesn't always mean better, because you also need to generate heat. He says in continuation, if your rotor are too hot, they won't perform. And the same goes if they are too cold. Man, can you understand this? This is what I'm trying to explain, not to you because you're stupid, or to me because I'm stupid, or to these crooks, or to this ignorant, or to this superficial journalist. But for me to argue my point of view that 4-piston in the rear with 50% more power than the previous version with servo wave and whatever is stupid. You unbalance the disc, the pads, the wheel, the grip, the behavior, the control, the everything. And I'm not sure you can lately rebalance the things, because on 2 piston brakes there is a 25 years, let's say like this, 25 years technology development, technology results, statistics, whatever, who somehow are in your back supporting you. With this 4 piston in the rear, whoever know what's better on that. Or maybe exactly as for road, you can't come up with a solution for road with disc to actually be good for from a lot of point of view. Maybe it's too heavy, but it dissipates heat. Maybe it doesn't dissipate heat, it's also light, so you crash. Maybe these two, but the pistons are two away, so you don't have that lever ratio or that power, you know. So the pads are where they need to be. They don't zing 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 zing. They don't lose watts. But again, you have a poor feeling into the lever. Maybe that's the same way for mountain bike with 4 piston in the back. You try to make something to work which is a no-brainer. No-brainer. Why like this? We want to find the sweet spot where the friction is being created but the rotors aren't overheating. Again, if I take all my bikes, all of them, and I also have here, maybe you don't believe me, maybe you don't believe me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here are the pads, here are the adapters. I forgot where I was with the number, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, only in this box, and the statement sounds like this. If I check with you, these are only in this box. I have few other new ones, whatever, fancy other things, let's say like this. Around here, so new, untouched. These are also a lot of them almost new. The idea is next one. If I put the camera with the blitz on each and every disc of all of these, used by me, used by somebody else, which I had these discs, let's say because I bought a bike, it had that disc on. I bought my own disc and I upgraded and somehow I adapted, so I bought a new disc and I remained with this. So whatever disc which was mine or somebody else, I will start now to check all my bikes, all my boxes, all my discs. I don't have even one disc which presented the overheating effects, because of course there are overheating effects. For this particular, let's say, minor detail topic, I will present you how a hot rotor look like. An overheat rotor, not, but a hot rotor. Let's see. This is a hot rotor. Firstly, this is a big joke. You know why? Because this guy here have a quad piston. This is a Magura, I think MT5. On a fucking crap 160 piece of junk, €5 rotor. And he filmed that he's smoking. So you can see this is the cheapest, most trash, most entry-level Decathlon style disc brake rotor on this earth, 160. But he has a 4-piston rotor, a 4-piston caliper, and it is smoking. But let's see the disc, its color, and if it is actually overheated. Now it's heated, but it is over. All right, let's pause a bit. Let's write like this: overheat disc rotor sign. Bike, let's say like this, bike. Can you see here the blue, let's say, purple, rainbow, like this? You can see also here the burn purple. You can see blue. Here is the brown. All right, brown, blue. This means overheat. All right, this means overheat. Shimano will also mention this, but I took it a bit further because you need to see this, so you need to understand what we read. So this means the disc at one moment or a few times was overheated, this blue. This brown is alright, this is a good sign. You are at the temperature. This one means overheated. Alright, let's see this guy. So he have 4 piston. Four piston, alright, a bit of overheated, a bit. You can see it's a bit blue. With a 160 piece of trash, garbage rotor. And he's showing us the smoke. Please explain this to me. So you have a small rotor, you have a piece of trash rotor, which barely got into the overheat zone, which was the blue one. Barely. It's not a problem, let's say, if it's overheated, you know, you had an extreme descent, whatever, and it overheated. No problem. But they say, every manufacturer say that the brake system will not perform best either if the system is overheated or underheated. So to actually solve that problem, maybe you need some finned pads, which I don't know Magura produce, I don't know, I'm not sure. Or you need a bigger rotor, a bigger 180, more than that, even though it's a trash, cheap, dirty piece of crap rotor, 180, a bigger one. Or if you can improve to a Shimano RT70, which is not that expensive compared to any of the SRAM crap, again, problem solved. Isn't it mind-blowing to see a solution like this? Oh, I have 4 piston. Oh, I have 4 piston on the piece of trash setup. Let's see another, guys. Alright, some snow on the 4 piston, which smokes a bit. I don't see any blue-purple color there. Again, Magura 4 piston. In my opinion, this is Magura, I think. Yeah, M-A-G-U-R-A, whatever. Alright, with a piece of trash rotor. But in this case, because it is not blue, even though it's smoke from this ice, from this snow, whatever thing, this is just a good sign. As I said before, if you see brown, as you can see here and here, brown spots, that means it's good. So you operate at optimum temperature. If you see purple and blue, then it's a bit too much. But even with this normal standard 180, I think, disc with no cooling, whatever, I think this is a SRAM or a Magura disc. Anyways, you can see no signs of overheating. This is just a heating. Just a heating. Everything normal, no problem. You can see it's an enduro bike. Of course, the video is nice. I also made something like this. Yeah, fine. Alright. But is it, let's say, a problem? Oh, me, you, these guys didn't even touch the optimum temperature to actually obtain that brown nuance there, that color brown, brownish. If I show you each and every disc of mine, so there's no purple, no blue, nowhere, none, zero, on bike or in all the boxes, none. And maybe I will find one or two, maybe, because I don't want to lose this bet. Maybe I will find one or two with brown, soft brown color on them. Maybe. And that's the optimum temperature. Hot or not, this is the perfect color. This is the perfect temperature. Alright, so this is brownish. Brownish, you will read on Shimano website with me. This is brownish. This is the optimum looking of a used, well selected disc for you and for your style. To also have power and to also have control. This is the optimum deal you need to choose for you. And this is new. Alright? And this is the most stupid, dumb, idiotic idea which you will regret, you will laugh about your friend if he does this to a hot disc, to put water. Again, you can see here a hot disc, alright, which is a SRAM code, whatever average stuff there. No ventilation, no pads here, no fins, no nothing. No ice cooling, no nothing here, no nothing. No purple, no brown, some heat, some steam. Maybe you would think, oh my god, my disc brake rotor got hot. I need not just four pistons. I need 10 pistons now. I am Marc Marquez and I found the limit of the brakes. I will put 8 on the back and 12 on the front. Easy. Again, the 2-piston finned brake pads, which work extremely well. I don't use them because I need to generate heat, man. It's very clear here. Bigger disc doesn't always means better. Instead, it's all about ensuring the right amount of heat is generated, first of all. If your rotors are too hot, they won't perform. And the same goes if they're too cold, they won't perform. On the front and the back, they won't perform. We want to find the sweet spot where the friction is being created, but the rotors aren't overheating. Alright, let's see more. Bigger riders riding at higher speeds on the steep terrain will be best suited to large rotors, and small rotors are for small riders at lower downhill speed on flatter terrain. So small rotors are for riders at lower downhill speed on flat terrain. So if you have 50 kilos, alright, if you weigh 50 kilos, oh, but yeah, I ride fast, I'm Superman, I want 4 piston, just like that, because I want, because I need power, as again our friend said, which excusez-moi, I actually somehow make a bet. He weighed maximum 70 kilo.
Time to have more powerful brakes. So even if you're only going up and down a couple hundred feet on your ride, then you're still going to be very happy on your descent with more stopping power.
You'll be happy, yeah. Here is nothing about happy. Here is bigger riders, alright, riding at higher speeds on steep descent. And small rotors are for riders at lower downhill speed on flat terrain. So it's nothing about happy. I'll be happy. Happy. Big rotors, big calipers, happy. 4 piston. Continuing. You'll also see some riders with a more oversized rotor on the front and smaller one on the back. What's that all about? Because we're usually hurling downhill on a steep decline, our weight is loaded toward the front of the bike, making the front bike brake work more, sometimes doing up to 70 of the braking. A larger rotor better suited to this job. So exactly as for motorcycles, as we mentioned, 70% braking front. Of course you need a bigger rotor. But let's discuss here, because I also have a solution here. So if you used 2 piston front rear, let's say one bigger size front, one small size in the back, and you, for example, say I want more power, all right, you upgrade front, you put 4 caliper. What can you do in the back? So because the difference is usually 70 front, 30 back, you can ask yourself, man, if my previous 2 piston caliper was enough for 70% in the front with a one size bigger rotor, for me who have now 2 piston 30% in the back with a one size larger, if I put a bigger size rotor in the back, now I am at 40% or 41, 42, as the guys on the forum said. You increase one size the rotor, you gain 10% at least. 10%, 11, 12, whatever. So now you can apply 40% on the rear. You can manage 40% on the rear. You can dissipate a lot of heat. And previously, on the same diameter of rotor, you were just fine with the 70% on the front brake. But you just wanted more. So if you just want more, not my problem, you want more on the front, how much do you want in the back? If you want more in the back, you're just fine with, let's say, 70. The front 70, if you move it on the back, let's say, you're just fine. But you can't apply 70. You can't apply that much on the rear. You can't not. The bike is the same. Even though you change the rotors, the brake calipers, the whatever, front and rear and whatever. Even if you take a backpack, even if you have your tools, you have water with you, a bag of banana, you can't put a lot of more power with your rear brake, because that's physics. You can't. You can only upgrade the front. As you saw, the riders from Superbike and Nidia Nazo, he doesn't even have a rear brake at his motorcycles. In MotoGP, they say, man, it's important to have a rear brake, because also you accelerating, you have a lot of power, again, power in engine power. You also need to tap the rear brake a little to push, to stop that power in the throttle, because you have too much power on the engine, or you need to control it. So you also need a fine adjustment in the rear. But when it comes to how much power I can use on the rear, you can see there is 70 front, 30 back. Do you need to improve the back? If the front was alright, let's say alright, and manage the heat, manage the everything. As I said previously, I would actually, if you improve the front caliper with a 4 piston caliper, and maybe also increase size, why not to match with the same 2 piston caliper but a bigger rotor? Because as I said, as I presented you in the beginning, the bigger the rotor with the same 2 piston against 4 piston, you have more control when you just grab and lock the rear wheel. Exactly as for Screamer engine setup with the shaft, with big bang, with crossplane, Yamaha R1 crossplane technology. Exactly as for ABS, the more or the better controlled slip or release or lock of the rear wheel, the better for control. 70% braking. Now with the color. The color of your brake rotors can tell you if they're the right size or not. You're in the sweet spot if they're got brown marks on them. Rainbow colorations means they're running too hot, and you might need to size up, and no discoloration. Watch this. And no discoloration means they're not getting up to temperature, so you need to size down or ride faster. This is for you, because that's why I said, who the fuck are you? And maybe you felt insulted. Man, if you say you are fastest, like the motorcycles, oh man, I lean in the canyon, I go left and right, I'm Marc Marquez. Show me your tire. Even though this is a superficial thing between riders, or no, oh, you have chicken strips, yeah, oh, you have, oh, you don't have, oh, you're slow, I'm fast, I'm whatever. I can drag with my elbow, I can touch with my head the road in the corner, I can create sparks with my knee, you know, BS, anyways. Or ride faster. So if someone read your disc, as I showed you my discs before, and I can show you the rest of the discs on bike or off bike. How many of them are brown? Maybe one, maybe two. I didn't check. Rainbow or purple or blue? 0. And how many are non-colored? All of them. What does it mean? Me as example, I'm not that fast. It's there, so you might need to size down or ride faster. Alright? I don't size down too much down. I size either 160. It's alright, you gain some temperature, you gain some feel, not even near to the optimum temperature to be brown. But with 180, I felt that I have more control on the rear wheel. If you are in the same category, doesn't matter what you ride, downhill, enduro, whatever, and you don't have brown color, you don't have rainbow color, you can think in the same way. But you can go to the shop, to the store, to his store, to his platform, and he say to you, what?
A bad time to have more powerful brakes. So even if you're only going up and down a couple hundred feet on your ride, then you're still going to be very happy on your descent with more stopping power.
No way. And I also want to find where he said the next thing.
Prone to getting hit when riding, and also they do decrease modulation over some common brake lingo. Brake fade is a term common to pistons. Two-piston caliper don't get as hot on descents and have less loss of power or less brake fade. Modulation is off feeling, while Shimano four-piston brakes not only have increased power, but much better modulation. Squeeze the lever a little bit and controlling your speed of upper brakes. More manufacturers are real $1,000 on the trails to upgrade to four-piston brakes. Piston brakes and you feel like your brakes are losing power while descending, or just straight up don't have much power from the get-go, then you will greatly benefit from an upgrade to four-piston brakes. Plain and simple. You'll also be able to ride faster with better.
I want to see his disc.
Wait, how can having better brakes make you ride faster? Isn't their only purpose to slow you down? Well, yes, but if you have confidence that your brakes will actually slow you down, then you'll feel more confident to let it rip and ride fast. For example, I rode these Shimano XT M8000 two-piston brakes for a season out here in the Pacific Northwest, and while I was riding steep trails, I was straight up just like holding the lever the whole time to keep me at a slow pace, so I didn't speed up too quick, because I really felt like at the bottom of steep sections of trail, that if I grabbed my brake to slow myself down after carrying speed downhill, that I wasn't going to stop. These things had a tremendous amount of brake fade. They just didn't have enough power for the style of riding that I'm doing.
Show me your disc. Show me your disc with your style. Show me your disc. I showed you mine. Show me your disc. Oh, those don't have the required power? Alright, show me your disc. Firstly, color. If the color is rainbow, I would suggest you, dude, increase this size, as Shimano say. Increase this size. Put a bigger one. Because it's purple, you need more heat dissipation. If it's brown, I would say, well done. You, my friend, the American, the last co. You ride well. But what you do if there's no color, like in my case? Show me your disc.
Down after carrying speed downhill, that I wasn't going to stop. These things had a tremendous amount of brake fade. They just didn't have enough power for the style of riding that I'm doing.
Yeah, I believe you. Show me your disc. Show me your disc. Let's continue. Our new whatever, these are for road, which are those with fins. Very beautiful rotors, just for the sake of art. Let's watch the beautiful engineering. As you can see, very beautiful. And this one also very beautiful. The new whatever pack as much tech as performance as possible in a rotor. These rotor differ from the previous model because of their new shape, as their thinner profile means they're less offset and wobble, which improves heat dissipation and braking consistency. The RT CL900 comes with dissipation paint that gives 10% improvement. Both are available in 140, 160, 180 and 203 size, so every type of rider can find the right setup. I actually how can you say, closed the previous video. He couldn't. He wanted more pistons. Pistons and pads matter too. Two piston brakes unsurprisingly use two pistons. one on either side of the caliper. To push the pads against the rotor, 4 piston brakes have more piston and use bigger brake pads with a larger surface area for more stopping power. But size isn't the most crucial factor. You should keep the sweet spot of heat in mind instead. I would like again to read the same thing. 4 piston brakes have more pistons and use bigger brake pads with a larger surface area for more stopping power. But size isn't the most crucial factor. You should keep the sweet spot of heat in mind instead. Is it clear for me that that guy is talking trash? Alright, you need always to start from this sweet spot of heat and not from, oh, I want 4 piston. I want 4 piston. Alright, we'll continue with this guy, which talks very good and true stuff. And after that, we will go back to Shimano to expose the liars, the crooks in the industry, the ignorant and the funny in the end. People who don't know how to ride fast, who don't know how to actually select and adapt, either with them, either with their customers.
Review. The bloody Formula Cura X review. They're bloody amazing. I just feel a little bit sorry for them, that everyone ignores the poor things because they've only got 2 pistons and everybody wants 4 pistons. They're great and definitely overlooked. So I wanted to buy a normal pair of Curas to replace the codes on the Supreme. On Bike 24, the normal Cura is only €118 each, which seems like a pretty good price to me for one decent, pretty high-end brake. They're machined in Taiwan and assembled in Italy, but the normal Curas are out of stock everywhere. But the Cura X was in stock. It is described as a lightweight, high-end disc brake for cross-country or XC race. The Cura X.
It's described. You will find out later that it's just a understated thing.
X comes in at €205 per brake, which is mainly you pay for the carbon lever upgrade and the Kevlar hose. 2 piston brake for riding downhill? Surely not. As far as I can tell, the Cura was the last brake to win a downhill World Cup with only 2 pistons back in 2017, being ridden under Finn Isles. Okay, so it was only a junior World Cup, but Loic Bruni was also using these brakes for a while.
Alright, let's see Loic Bruni. If they were good for Loic Bruni, who am I to actually want 4 piston? Loic Bruni. Let's say 2015. POV. This is too recent for me. Let's see this. Oh my god.
First win. What if it's right at the World Championships?
Well, he's up at the first split by over half a second, Bruni. Oh my word, the times keep tumbling down. You know what? I would love to see this man win a World Cup or a World Championship. No one more deserving of it. He's been second 5 times at World Cups. 4 times this year. 4 times the runner-up.
Totally different style than what we saw from Greg Minnaar. Greg Minnaar was sprinting hard out of these turns and he's just letting it roll, probably saving some energy to be able to focus on the steep section that's coming up now.
Tactical riding, perhaps. But can you afford to do that today? Because Minard, despite the efforts he might have put in, was not slow. Well, we're going to find out now as we come up towards split number 2. Oh, and it looks good, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be close.
Yes.
It's going to be close and different. No, he's up. He's up by nearly 2 seconds.
Completely
So Loic
different
Bruni.
line.
Can Bruni hold on to this? Sneaks down the inside there as well.
Coming off that bridge, he was on the rider's right, that nobody else did so far, and I think that was fast.
The crowd respond. Plenty of French fans here in Andorra. Bruni, look at him, unbelievable. Jumping to left, oh my word.
Ooh.
Jumping left and right.
Stay on your bike, Loic. This might be your first win.
Fastest qualifier at 3 of 4 World Cups this year. Failed with inside the finish line a few times. Let's hope it doesn't happen again today. Bruni is on a fantastic run here, a different line. He looks composed, he looks cool. This might be the run he's been waiting for his entire career, and what a day to deliver it on. Bruni comes down now towards the finish line. He goes big. Here we go. It's going to smash the time of an hour. Yes, look at that time. Bruni goes into the gold medal position by over 2 seconds. It's an incredible run.
I don't know what he uses. It seemed to me TRP or SRAM, something like that. I'm not sure about the brake setup. At least to see if there is a 4-piston. At least. Nah, impossible.
Cut that time! Bruni goes into the gold medal position by over 2 seconds. It's an
Or these are the Cura, I don't know.
incredible run.
I'm not that into.
Will it be enough for him to take the gold medal? He's been waiting a long time for a win, and today would be the one he would choose to do it on. Wow, wow.
I think it's SRAM. Anyway.
That has blown my mind.
Okay, not much to say there.
So, take with salt and pepper what you hear here. Here.
Stock is described as a lightweight, high-end disc brake for cross-country or XC race. The Cura X comes in at €205 per brake, which is mainly the carbon lever upgrade and the Kevlar hose. 2-piston brake for riding downhill, surely not. As far as I can tell, the Cura was the last brake to win a downhill World Cup with only 2 pistons back in 2017, being ridden under Finn Isles. Okay, so it was only a junior World Cup, but Loic Bruni was also using these brakes for a while and didn't seem to slow him down, pun intended. So I reviewed these for Pink Bike. I reread my review. It's very positive. And also on Enduro Mag, probably the best brake review online anywhere, done by Trev Worsey for Enduro MTB Mag, the German guys. It's the only time I've seen any lab data for brakes, which is quite interesting. The Cura was one of the best brakes on their test, and it did win best value, and the Code RSC won best overall brake, and they were testing them for trail enduro riding. Really good test with power meter reading.
Take a look around here. So you see here also MT7, MT5, V4 T3, alright? Saint from Shimano, of course 4-piston, Z from Shimano, 4-piston. The garbage code RSC, the previous our friend mentioned. So who's in the top?
From a dyno and star ratings for different things.
Again, code RSC, alright, around here. You have Z, let's eliminate. You have Z, alright. You have Saint. All of them 4-piston. You have MT7, MT5, Hopes. All are for piston, and you have Formula Cura. Of course, there is a Cura for piston. This rider will tell more about them also.
Value, modulation, all that stuff. Best review online. But if you actually count the number of stars and check the power readings, it looks to me like the Magura MT7 actually won that test according to their data, followed by the Cura and then the Code RSC. The Cura was arguably second or third best, and nearly all the other brakes in that review had 4 pistons, and these had 2 pistons. The Kevlar hose should be much more impact resistant than a normal hose. There isn't actually any information on Formula's website that I can find about this. I've said this a load of times. I don't think normal plastic brake hoses should be used on mountain bikes. I always try to choose the braided steel hose, like with Hope brakes, the toughest hose possible. Because it doesn't happen often, but I've seen that enough times brake hoses get cut or split, people crash, the hose gets crushed between the frame and the fork stanchion, ripped out, or a rock flies up and hits it underneath the bottom bracket area, splits the hose. And it doesn't happen often, but your life literally depends on the tiny amount of oil running through these tiny little 4 or 5 mil thick hoses, and inside it's 1 or 2 millimeters diameter. Tiny amount of oil, and your life can literally depend on it. Get the toughest hoses you can. Stainless steel could actually save your life. I went for the polished version on the Commensal. Really nice finish, polished chrome, silver. The carbon lever does add a bit of bling if you're into that kind of thing. Myself, I don't really care about what they look like or the weight. I wouldn't pay extra for the carbon lever normally. I don't see the point. I'm sure when I crash and smash it into a rock, then I'm not going to last very long. So yeah, personally, I wouldn't spend my extra money on them, but they were in stock. The carbon lever does feel pretty nice. It's a bit warmer maybe in cold weather, and does just seem to have a bit of a softer, more damp feel. Arguably, yeah, super nice lever shape anyway. It's maybe a little bit smooth, too polished compared to the shot peened alloy version. But I've done the normal little trick, a bit of grip tape on the lever to improve your grip and sensitivity. Obviously, I complain about everything. The carbon lever is a little bit rattly on this junction connection here. But positive, the tool-free lever adjust. I can actually adjust on all these brakes with my fingers. Whereas the set I reviewed for Pink Bike years ago, and in all the other reviews I've read, you couldn't actually turn them by hand, it was way too stiff. You put in a 2mm or 2.5mm Allen key to turn them, and it's a bit awkward between the grip and the lever. But this one's, all these, you can actually turn them easily. So I don't know if that's been fixed or if it was a problem on the first ones. But yeah, tool-free adjustment works great. The lever feel is fantastic, super light, really good shape. Definitely perfectly in line with my fingers and the path your fingers move on as you pull the brake. It's great. A lot of people will have bent mountain bike brake lever fingers from braking too much over years, fingers pointing out this way. I think that's from a lot of brakes, that the lever ergonomics aren't perfect and it's sort of pulling your finger across. So if you're an old mountain biker who's been riding a long time, see if your fingers are bent like mine from braking too much. So the brakes came with no rotors, €205 each, no rotor. Going for these big fat Magura bad boys. Now a couple of people already messaged me about these and said they started to vibrate or rattle a little bit on the rivets, but they've been fine so far. I haven't had that problem myself. There is a slight rocking feeling if you hold the bike when stationary and move backwards and forwards, a little bit like if you have centre lock or some brake pads that move a bit in the caliper. I don't really find this a problem. I'm never really worried about that because when you're riding, the rotor's always going forwards, so everything sort of moves to one end of the play. If I was trials riding, I wouldn't want to use these rotors, because if you're trials riding and you've got the brake locked and rocking backwards and forwards, that probably could get a little bit annoying, but on the trail that's never bothered me myself. But I did choose these because they are 220mm for heat dissipation. They're extra thick e-bike rotors, the 2.25mm thick, and they've got the alloy spider, which I'm not sure if this is for heat management, or if these blocks help to brace the steel part of the rotor against the alloy part. I guess it's lighter, but also the alloy is a lot thicker, so it should be stronger and stay straighter for longer, hopefully. The stiffer rotor, if you do manage to bend it, it's going to be more difficult to straighten it, but hopefully it shouldn't bend as much. I find with normal 1.8mm rotors, you can have them perfectly straight, a few runs on a downhill track and they'll be touching the pads again. So hopefully these will avoid that. And also the thicker disc should hopefully reduce the lever throw. So I like to have the minimum possible amount of movement from when the lever is fully extended to when it hits the pads. I like that to be as low as possible, because I try to ride with my fingers off the brakes, literally off the brakes as much as possible, and then just pull them. So I try to ride with my fingers off the lever like this, and then pull it on, off, on, off. I don't like to ride holding it in the travel, which is what I used to do, and a lot of people do, but then you're more likely to drag. This way, it's on or off. Brake pads, trick stuff, power pads. These are really good. These must be the best brake pads on the market. I think in the Enduro MTB review that I mentioned, they also use these pads. I think they said it gave an average of 18% power. No noises, no squeaking. It's the noise of them like tearing into the disc rotor as it creates friction. That is noticeable. But that's a good noise to hear, in my opinion. That's the noise you want to hear from your brakes. If your brakes are making no noise, they're probably not working very well. If you can hear the pads like tearing into the rotors, you're probably slowing down pretty well, which is the goal. On the back of this bike, I did about 6 days riding in some proper alpine bike parks: Morzine, Morjan, Verbier, Viola and Gris. And it looks like the rear ones have worn about 50% in 6 days. So that's pretty good for a super high performance, high power, organic pad. No wet weather performance to comment on yet, because it's been super dry and I avoid the rain like the plague. I've done my time in the UK riding in the mud, and in Morzine in the mud, so I've avoided the rain, but this weekend we might get some rain. Talking of pads, Formula made a new brake, but they didn't make up another slightly different pad shape to annoy anyone who works in a bike shop, or to make it impossible to buy pads when you desperately need them in a mountain resort or in a bike park in the middle of nowhere. They just use the old pad design, which are backwards compatible with all 2-piston Formula brakes: the R1, the RO, T1, CR3, RX, Cura, easy. I don't know why there's so many different types of brake pads. This is something that annoys me with bikes. There's like hundreds of different types and they're all nearly the same.